I find it fascinating that some dreams don't make sense until many years later. I had a dream where I was in my uncle's kitchen and we were talking about the universe and the concept of God. I heard the word Cassiopeia mentioned, and then my Uncle Ray told me that I was being rewarded with a gift of Jade. I do have an Uncle Ray in real life, but we don't talk about the universe and the concept of God together. And I felt that this was a reference to the sun god Ra, or Re, of Egyptian myth. I wrote about this in my book published in April 2009, and before I met the man who would be the father for my daughter, whose middle name is Jade. It wasn't until more recently that I realised that that was the connection, that dream was telling me that she was my gift. Before I discovered I was pregnant, I had a dream where I was looking at the water and the moonlight was reflecting on it really beautifully. But there was a creature in the water that was in trouble. And even though the water was deep, I was able to walk into it, almost as if I was walking just up to the ankles. And I retrieved this creature from the water, which was actually a dolphin, and I held it like a baby in my arms. This dream would also be a clue that it would be a difficult birth. And it wasn't until recently that I realised that several of the dreams in my first book also had a dual meaning. So my older sister had bleeding when she was pregnant, and we thought that she'd lost the baby, but I dreamt that she had a scan and there was a heartbeat. And then when she did have a scan, there was a heartbeat, and now my niece is an adult. But when I was pregnant, I had to go to the hospital at 20 weeks because my midwife couldn't find a heartbeat, and it took hours to be seen. And we obviously all thought the worst. But when they did the scan, she did have a heartbeat, and she was hiding behind the placenta. Like a lot of children, she sometimes talks about seeing spirits when she was younger, and she had invisible friends. And I remember her saying to me one time when we were waiting at a busy road, waiting for the Green Man to come on, and she said, "Oh, this is where the ambulance comes, Nina." And I just said, "Oh yeah," as if that had happened last time, but I'd forgotten. And then a few seconds later, an ambulance came whizzing past. We've also had several shared dreams, like the one before we went to London when I was nervous for taking her with me for the first time, even though I've travelled the world on my own. And I dreamt we were at a busy road and we were almost swamped by loads of people, but then owls swooped down from the sky as if they were protecting us. She had the same dream, except instead of the owls being in the sky, the people turned into owls and we were able to cross the road safely. I hope you enjoyed this surreal content, and please like and subscribe.